Hey everybody, nice to see you at the end of the day here. I apologize for not being able to jump on and take you out into the mountains today on a nature excursion so that we can deliver a message. I had work early today and I just didn't have the ability to get out. A lot of times I'm doing stuff like I'm editing or doing post-production type stuff, so I have the flexibility to, go out in the morning, super early before the sun rises, download a message for everyone, and then get on with my day really late. But sometimes on shoot days like today, you got to get up and at it, and that's what we're up to. But I'm back now, and I wanted to still be able to bring through some information and some guidance for the week. I got such great feedback last week about just that little soundbite of the truth is in the subtle, not the sensational. The truth is not in the sensational, but it's in the subtle. And I feel like some of that guidance is continuing to trickle on into this week. So I'm going to pose some questions for you today to ask yourself. Ideally, getting into guidance and taking some time to get quiet at some point so you can ask yourself these questions. But I'll talk a little bit around it and maybe paint a picture somehow and see if we can make some connections to help the light bulb go off. But let's dive into today's guidance, this week's guidance. So the first thing that came up when I checked in tonight, and I asked for the energy that's kind of carrying us into the week, and I got breathe and be patient. Allow yourself to fully exhale and just sit with what arises in the exhale. So this is really, again, like a carrying over of the energy that was coming up last week about the truth being not in the sensational, but in the subtle, right? Being able to get underneath the surface and getting past the triggers and the sensations and the emotions and whatever's getting kicked up, and really being able to get into what's going on underneath that. And, at the top of this message, I got breathe and exhale. And just allow yourself to fully exhale and sink into what arises in that space between breaths. And I really like this. We talked a lot about it last night in the intuitive development group that I'm facilitating. I gave them a little pro tip, and that is when sometimes I'm having a hard time getting clarity on intuitive information that is coming through, whether it's for myself or if I'm reading for somebody else. You'll see me if you watch like the live that we did on Friday. Big deep breath. And I literally just let out this long, drawn out exhale, and I sink into this fully relaxed state, and I see what comes up. And I find that when I do that, there's a lot more clarity. It allows those things that are really deep, really subtle, to just sort of emerge. And the energy that's strong with us here, that's with us at the top of the week, is leaning into that exhale. Really breathe. Be patient, and breathe and be patient so that you can allow those subtle things to emerge. That's what this is really about. This is about breathing through the sensational, again, carrying in that energy from last week, breathing through the sensational. And when we exhale and we just allow ourselves to relax, no matter how wild and crazy it feels, that space in between breaths allows us to tap into something more subconscious, more subtle, something more truthful. So that's the energy here at the top of the week that I want you to be aware of, so that you can take some time to breathe, to be patient. Be patient with yourself, be patient with the process, be patient with the insights that want to emerge, the truth that wants to emerge, the awareness that wants to emerge beyond the sensational. I want to breathe and lean into that space in between. When I asked what is strong with us, what's the wave, like I talked about in the past, what's the wave that we can catch right now, moving into the week, and really directing our energy and our attention. And it has to do with directing our energy and attention. So what I got was that focus and focusing on and reorganizing our priorities. So being able to breathe and just sort of take an inventory, what absolutely needs energy and attention. It's very important. And then also knowing or asking, calling in, Where does energy and attention want to be cultivated? What do I want to cultivate for myself? So as you breathe, and we're in this process of getting into the inhale and the exhale and sort of exploring the subtle awareness and the subtle intelligence that wants to arise in between breaths, ask yourself, ask your higher self, ask God, ask guidance, loving guidance. Ask, what would like to be cultivated for my highest good? And see what emerges, what arises. And when you get an answer to that question, know that the energy that is strong with us this week as a collective is our ability to reprioritize and refocus our energy to support what wants to be cultivated is really strong with us. We can step into that. So we can trust what comes up. And if you ask this question, it might be cultivating a deeper meditation practice. Maybe it's cultivating more quality time with the kids, or more quality time with friends or a significant other, making new connections. Maybe what comes up is refining my craft, deepening my mastery of the guitar or my editing skills, right? It's gonna be different for everybody. But what's strong with you this week is to breathe, ask, where does energy and attention want to flow? What wants to be cultivated? And see what comes up. And know that energy, loving awareness is supporting us directing our attention into that area of our life. Loving awareness, God, our guidance is supportive and going to help us make that a priority. So that's the energy that is strong with us this week. When I asked what is unconscious, what's percolating underneath the surface, it's happening in our subconscious, whether we know it or not. And we're sticking with this theme. It's been going on for months now. We've talked a lot about it, of renewal and revitalization and reforming aspects of ourself, aspects of our life. So know that we're continuing with this process of transformation, this new foundation of thoughts and this new foundation of integrated experiences, these new connections that we're calling in or new choices that we're making. This is all still just kind of happening in the background, Be aware of that. Know that this is energy that is still very much present with us, whether it's the focus of our conscious attention or not. Renewal and recreating ourselves and revitalizing our life, our connection to whatever it is we want to direct our focus and attention to is really strong with us. So old stuff is going to continue to kind of get shuffled out, or old stuff's going to come up and in so that we can see it, bring it to light with the light of our awareness. We're going to see it clearly, pull it out of the dark, right? And then decide where it goes. Do we let it go? Do we hang on to it and sort of renegotiate our relationship to it? Or do we just acknowledge it, witness it, love on it, and call in the next experience, right? That's up to you. But just know that this little cycle, this kind of clearing out and the opportunity to reconnect and make new connections is still very fresh. So new patternings, all that kind of stuff, new connections, new integrated experiences are all very present, and a lot of them are happening at an unconscious level. And then finally, where is this all carrying us through the week? So as we think about, when we look at the week as a whole, from this Tuesday to next Tuesday-ish, give or take a little bit, where are we going to be at by the end of the week? So if we're breathing through and being patient with ourselves in a process and allowing things to emerge in the space in between breaths, right? Allowing some intelligent awareness to bubble up, some insightful, inspired awareness to bubble up. If we're allowing that to happen, and we're stepping into that energy that allows us to focus our energy and attention in a more prioritizing, where we put our focus, our energy, and our attention. And we're mixing that with this ability to sort of recreate ourselves anew, moment to moment, in relationship to the things that are coming up. By the end of the week, it seems like we're going to be maybe a little bit more honest, a little bit more clear with ourselves about where we truly are at, right? So there's been lots and lots of transformation, a lot of shifting. We've been talking about it for months. So for those of you who are like, okay, this sounds a lot like a lot of the stuff that's been coming up, Totally. And that's the way I have found that this works. We kind of circle around lessons, or we're sort of in a cycle. So we tend to kind of go around and around in a spiral from new levels of awareness for months at a time, until the process is complete, right? It's not linear, and it's not it doesn't just happen overnight. It's like this slow turning of the wheel as things come to our awareness. And it's like, oh, now we have new awareness. Well, how do I put that new awareness into practice? How do I integrate it into my being? How do I integrate it into my consciousness, in my thoughts, in my words, in my deeds? And so then we go through this whole process of trying to integrate, of trial and error, of trying and failing, and trying and failing, and then slowly starting to get our feet under ourselves, and going, okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this. I'm starting to integrate this new awareness in every thought, word, and deed. And by the time you get around and you've integrated it completely, bloop, something new comes up, right? Some new awareness. And then the same process happens over again. It's really kind of awesome. And I think the more we get used to it, and the more we explore it in this way, we look at it more like a creative process. Anybody who's ever written a poem, written a song, made a film, written a script, written a short story, built a house, built a little project, anybody that's engaged in creating anything will connect with this thing that, you start with an idea, and then you try the idea out, and it kind of works. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. And so you adjust, and you make a new, tweak, and you take a new step, and you get one step closer until that thing finally gets finished. That's exactly what we're doing. So by the end of this week, I think there's going to be a greater amount of clarity about where we're truly at. So it's a little bit of a reality check. It's a little bit of the rose-colored glasses kind of falling off. We might have found ourselves recently very excited and invigorated by this new opportunity to recreate ourselves. We feel like we're in a position to make new choices, be conscious about how we engage with the world from a new level of awareness. That's very new and exciting. And then we step out, and I feel like what's happened the last couple weeks is we stepped out, and a bunch of stuff has just come up because we decided to move away from it, right? And so when we take new steps in a new direction, a lot of times we're getting one last, reality check. It's one last reminder. It's are we sure we're done with this stuff? Are you sure? And this is our way, Spirit's way of kind of us. It's us pushing ourselves to the next level, right? So we think we stepped into something new, and then the old stuff comes rushing back just to make sure that we're moving on to the new, right? And you're yes. So by the end of this week, I feel like we're going to be a little bit more honest and clear with ourselves about where we truly are at. What are our blocks? What do we still have to work on? These are okay awarenesses. Again, go back to the top. Breathe and be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be loving in this process. Because especially when we make a big jump forward, again, a bunch of stuff's going to want to come to the surface. And it may feel like a step backwards when you're oh my gosh, I thought I made this huge leap. Well, you have. Don't judge yourself. It's a process. Don't judge the process. It's not for you to decide how fast this happens. It's going to happen how it happens. The same way it's taken, thousands and thousands of years for the Colorado River to turn into what it is today. It's a process. Be patient with it. The emergence of your true, authentic, loving self, the unfolding of divine intelligence through your life is a process. So before I send you off, we realize by the end of the week, we're going to be a little bit more honest with ourselves about where we truly are at. I'm going to encourage you to ask guidance, get into meditation and ask guidance to see your blocks clearly, to ask guidance to give yourself the courage to confront those things that have held you back, to give you the strength to confront those things, to give you the love to forgive what you might need to forgive to move forward. So don't forget that when you get into prayer and you get into meditation, you can ask God, you can ask loving awareness for support. You can ask God for those things that you think you're lacking. You're never truly lacking them, but we can always rely on God and loving awareness to give us a boost. And that's where calling on our faith is really helpful. So ask for clarity, ask for strength, ask for guidance, ask to be shown what serves your highest good, and ask what you can do to step into that highest good and allow guidance to shepherd that process. I look forward to seeing how this serves you. Take care. See ya.